Well, hello. Today is Saturday, February 10th, and it's time for the Weight Watchers Freestyle meeting. Today is called Enjoy Eating Out. If you followed my channel for a while, you know I love eating out. I do a lot of eating out. Not as much as I did in the past, but I still do a lot of eating out. I eat out at least twice a month, at least. So anyway, into the good news. I had a loss of 2.7. I now weigh 240.3. I'm so close to getting into the 30s. This will mark the first time that I didn't go back into the previous set of numbers. I always went back into the previous set of numbers, and I refused to do it this time, and I'm only 0.4 away from getting into the 30s, and I can't believe it. It's just, even when I look at the numbers, 63.9, I'm amazed. I'm totally amazed. I've never, well, at one point before my 40th birthday, I starved myself into a 75-pound weight loss, and I gained all that back, plus an additional, 30 pounds. But I'm not going to do that anymore because I'm following the Freestyle program, which completely works for me. I have nothing but high praise for it. It's the perfect plan for me, and I think it would be the perfect plan for anybody out there that wants to join. It's I don't get paid by Weight Watchers by telling you to join. For years, people kept telling me to join, and I kept putting it off, and now it's the best thing I ever did for myself in a long time. But the quote that was on the board this morning was, "Success doesn't just happen, it's planned." You do have to plan your meals. You do have to plan when you're going to enjoy eating out. It's just, it's your way of life now. Before you could just eat willy-nilly and not have to worry about it, but how did that work for you? It didn't work for me, I know that. But what you want to do is you got to keep in mind that no one is perfect. Life is meant to be enjoyed. If you only follow me on Saturdays, because I harped on it all week on my daily vlog, and I apologize to the people that watch me every day, and I promise this will be the last time I bring it up this week, but maybe not. I think I brought it up on my other video. But anyway, starting tomorrow, you won't hear me say it anymore. Last Sunday, for my granddaughter's First Holy Communion, I had a 68-point meal. I used all of my weeklies, which I get 42. I used all of my dailies, which I get 25, and I was 1 over. And I just knew that I had a good time. It was part of my life. There was foods that I don't have every day, foods that my daughters and my daughter-in-law and my sisters make that we don't have on a regular basis, and I enjoyed it. I went, sorry, I gotta get a drink of water. I apologize. But I had a piece of cake. Actually, I had 2 pieces of cake, if I'm gonna be honest. Well, I am always honest, but I did have 2 pieces of cake. But the old Sandy would have went and ate another meal later in the day, and I just figured I ate enough. I did portion it out, which the old Sandy would have never done that. But I had half-cup servings of everything. I probably should have just had a 1/4 cup serving, and it might have brought it down a little bit. But you know what? It's part of my life. It's meant to happen, as they say. And so I went and I enjoyed it, and I had fun. So anyway, when we want to eat out, when you're dining out, you can still stay on track. On your phone, if you pay for the Weight Watchers, I don't know if the online people have it. I'm not really sure, so I don't want to say for sure. But I know that I can get onto the app, and I can look up at restaurants, and I can track what I'm going to have before I go there. And I do that now. So some tips that you can do when you're going to eat out is, number one, just about every restaurant, even your small little restaurants that are nearby in your neighborhood, have a website. Go on the website, track what you're going to have, figure out what you're going to have. Look on the book, or look, like if you have a Freestyle book, or look online. Try to see how many points it is. If your particular little restaurant isn't listed, you can always compare it to like a big chain restaurant, and it's pretty close in comparison usually. And then track how many points you're going to have before you go. The second thing you want to do is don't go hungry. I know you're going out to eat, so you're going to be hungry when you want to go, but that doesn't mean you got to be starving. Don't deprive yourself earlier in the day. Have a lot of 0-point foods. Have some eggs, maybe have a chicken breast, vegetables, small salad, maybe with a really light dressing. I've found the Panera poppy seed dressing is only 1 point for 2 tablespoons, and I love it. I love it more than the Skinny Girl. I do like the Skinny Girl, but this has a little bit not so much. I think the Skinny Girl has a slight tad bit of a little bit of an aftertaste. I don't get any aftertaste from the Panera dressing. And I get that at Kroger's in the refrigerator section by the produce department. Another thing you want to do is drink some water before you go. As soon as you get to the restaurant, when the waitress comes around, just add like a glass of water. And try to order like iced tea or something with no sugar in it. If you're going to drink coffee, drink it black if you like it that way. But when you're eating your meal, try to drink a lot of water while you're eating your meal, because the water will fill you up too. Another thing what you want to do is, even if you know it's a high point dinner, sometimes some of the, like if you go to the Olive Garden, some of the things are like 30 points, but they give you so much food. Cut it in half. Ask for a small plate, or even use your bread plate. Cut it in half and push half of it off of your plate. Just eat what's on your plate. Then get a carry-out container and eat that the next day or later in the day if you can, if the extra points to use. You don't have to eat it all at once. Nobody's going to hold you down and say you got to eat it all before you leave. Your mother probably doesn't go with you. My mother always said you need to eat all your food on your plate. But and I think that reason they did that when we were younger is you really didn't have as much food on your plate as we do nowadays. Our portion sizes are out of control. We never had portion sizes like that when I was little. I know that. Another thing you want to do is ask how the food is prepared. They'll tell you. They're more than willing to help you. If you think that there's going to be a problem and you don't want it in a particular oil or something, Jim doesn't like olive oil. He just doesn't like olive oil in anything. So whenever we go to a restaurant, he always says he's allergic to olive oil. They do not want a lawsuit that if you've told them ahead of time that you have a food allergy and they still give you some food that's prepared, they go out of their way to make sure that you don't have any problems with the food allergy. And you just tell them you're allergic to a certain thing and they'll do it. They'll prepare food any way you really want. If you're going to a good restaurant or a restaurant that wants you to return, they're going to they're not going to go crazy appeasing you, but you know, if it's within reason, they're going to do what you want to do. And you're paying for the meal. So you ask them and tell them what you want, because just because they prepared it a certain way, you're the one you're the one that's going to pay for it, you're the one that's going to eat it, and you're the one that's going to pay for it afterwards in more ways than one. So you want to make sure that you get what you paid for and you get what you want. You're paying for it, so you might as well get what you want. Some other tips that you can do is try to have an appetizer or a salad instead of the meal. A lot of times those appetizers are very filling. And like I like to get the, sometimes where they have the little nachos, not nachos, like a Nacho Bel Grande, but like a Mexican salad or something. And an appetizer size, it's really the right size, and it's enough to fill you up. Try just getting some soup and a salad. A lot of times you can go to Olive Garden and get soup and salad for under 10 bucks. That's not a bad deal at all. Slow down while you're eating. Enjoy it. You're there to have a conversation with the people that you've gone with, unless you've gone alone. But just enjoy the meal. You're paying for it. You're out and about. You're with friends or family, and have a good time. That's the whole point of it, is to have a good time. And if you have coffee, if you're going to have cream and sugar and things like that in it, order it after your meal, because maybe you're full, you know, you might not want it at that point. Avoid going to a buffet. That's what my communion party was a buffet, because there was all kinds of different kinds of food, and I picked from everything. And if you don't go to a buffet, you're more than likely not going to choose poorly. Wear some like tight-fitting clothes. They don't have to be like so tight that you're uncomfortable, but don't wear your sweatpants. Don't wear the elastic band pants. Wear like a normal pair of clothes that if you get a little too full, you're going to feel a little uncomfortable. That's going to kind of hold you in from eating too much. And a lot of times you can make a healthy swap. Instead of getting like the hash browns in the morning, if you get an omelet, the restaurant I go to, they're more than happy to give you some slices of tomato. They save money in the long run, because it's going to be cheaper for them just to give you a tomato or something that they're going to have anyhow, because most restaurants have bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches. They have salads with tomatoes. They're more than willing to work with you. Try to avoid the sauces and the dressings. Now, I know that's the best part of a salad, is the dressing. And a lot of times the sauce is the best part of the meal. but ask for it on the side where you can control how much you put on your plate. And skip the pre-foods. You don't really need an appetizer, a soup, a salad, a meal, and a dessert. If you're going to drink, try to decide, do I want a drink or do I want dessert? I very rarely order dessert out, only because it costs so much. I can't see spending that much for dessert when I can get it I can make it just as well at home. So let's go over the book while I got a quick hot minute. And it's called Enjoy Eating Out, Plan for Stress-Free, Fun, and Delicious Away-from-Home Dining Thanks to 0 Point Foods and Rollovers plus your digital tools. The only problem I have with Oprah's commercial is when she says, oh, you can go out, you can eat anything. Well, you can pretty much eat what you want, but you can't eat anything and you can't eat everything. You have to make smart choices. So the Freestyle program is all about livability. The program gives you the flexibility and the freedom to enjoy social occasions with your family and friends. The trick is to do a little planning before you go. You know, you can't dictate what's on the menu, and you can't dictate what's at a friend's house what they're serving. But a lot of times if you're going to a friend's house, you can ask if you can bring a dish to pass. And then bring something that you know that's a low point thing that you can fill up on. And you'd be surprised, a lot of people are going to like that low point dinner. I made that sugar-free, or not the sugar-free, the crustless strawberry pie. And I bought some Cool Whip with it. And they loved it. They didn't know it was a Weight Watchers recipe. I never told them it was a Weight Watchers recipe, but they ate it. You can bank your rollovers. You can do up to 4 points a day. I mean, I'm not sure where I left off, but anyway, you can roll over your used smart point, 4 unused smart points, and then you do have your weeklies that you can use. Decide what you want to eat before you go. Check out your menu. Like I said, if it's not on your app, like if the restaurant is not on your app, you can always compare it to other restaurants. And always eat a low point snack before you go. So the Think Again page tells us, an unhelpful thought is, my favorite restaurant is a local Mexican place and there's no way for me to know the smart point values of the foods they serve. But the helpful thought is, I may not know the exact smart points at my local eatery, but I can estimate using similar dishes at other Mexican restaurants. That's what I just said. Unhelpful thought is, my friends want to celebrate Valentine's Day at the pub. I'll never be able to stick to my budget, so I shouldn't bother tracking. But the helpful thought is, Valentine's Day is a special night. It's okay if I eat more today than I do on other days. That's where my weeklies, rollovers, and 0 Point foods come in. And that's all you got to remember. You can always, I got right back on track on Monday. I had that terrible eating day on Sunday, and I still lost 2.7. So it does work. What you want to do is plan ahead. Planning ahead is the key for me. I try not to arrive super hungry, and I stay aware of what I'm eating. The recipe is for a cauliflower crust pizza with pepperoni. So I'd just rather use the points for a regular pizza, but that's just me. So anyway, we talked about eating out. We can eat out. We can do that. We just have to plan, plan, plan. And I hope the video was helpful. If you think it'll help somebody, share it, comment, subscribe, and hit that like button. So I will see you next Saturday.